name is Syed Hassan. The topic of this presentation is how can I lower my environmental footprint. The main focus will be on individually solving a mathematical problem considering energy, taking public transport to work versus driving, showing complete mathematical working. The ecological footprint measure how fast we consume resources and generate waste compared to how fast nature can absorb our waste and generate new resources. Human activities consume resources and produce waste, and as our population grows and global consumption increases, it is essential that we measure nature's capacity to meet these demands. The ecological footprint has emerged as one of the world's leading measure of human demand on nature. It addresses whether the planet is large enough to keep up with the demands of humanity. Biocapacity can then be compared with humanity's demand on nature. Our ecological footprint. The ecological footprint represents the productive area required to provide the renewable resources humanity is using and to absorb its waste. Areas that makes up your footprint: energy, water, waste. Now the issue is how can I reduce my footprint? To do that, I have planned to do activity within these following. Using Polya's four-stage model, understand the original problem. Number 1. Plan to solve the problem. Number 2. This is number 2. And the number 3 is carry out the plan. And the final one, look back. Understand the original problem. Find out ecological footprint of the world and Australia to compare with. Take a quiz. Use footprint calculator to find out my impact on environmental footprint. How big is my car footprint? World Ecological Footprint Living Planet Report 2014. WWF's found Living Planet Report 2014 found that in 2010 the global ecological footprint was 18.1 billion global hectare GHA or 2.6 GHA per capita. Earth's total capacity was 12 billion GHA or 1.7 GHA per capita. This means that Earth's people needed 18 billion hectare of productive land in order to provide each and every person with the resources they required to support their lifestyle and to absorb the waste they produced. Ecological footprint and biocapacity in Australia since 1961. According to this chart, the carbon has been the dominant component of humanity's ecological footprint for more than half a century. In 1961, carbon was 36% of our total footprint, but by 2010 it comprised 53%. Ecological footprint by consumption category in this chart. According to Global Footprint Network statistical sources in Australia, we are consuming more than 3 times our fair share of the planet's natural resources. On a global scale, Australia has one of the largest environmental footprint per capita in the world, requiring 6.25 global hectare per person. If the rest of the world lived like we do in Australia, we would need a regenerative capacity of 3.6 Earths to sustain our demand on nature. As can be seen in diagram, in the year 2003-2004, the approximate contribution of the various components were food 24%, goods 17%, shelter 19%, and mobility 11%. How big is my travel footprint? There is a formula. Travel footprint is equal to distance traveled in kilometer per year, emission factor of car, gram carbon dioxide emission per kilometer. Emission factor is equal to direct emission from fuel combustion plus indirect emission from fuel production plus share of construction emission for the vehicle. So I use my car sedan. Average of car is 8 liter per 100 kilometer. Distance travel per day 20 kilometer round trip. Total days in a year travel 20 days. And in the public transport, in this my car, distance travel a year is unique 4400 kilometer per year. Both common in car and the public transport. Distance, total distance 4400. My own fuel consumption is equal to emission factor multiplied by actual consumption divided by 100. By using this calculation, references are given here. Direct fuel consumption is equal to 186 gram carbon dioxide emission per kilometer. Indirect fuel consumption is 33 gram carbon dioxide uh, emission per kilometer. So direct and indirect is given here. In the next stage, construction emission is equal to total construction footprint divided by expected life mileage, and the 9,000 divided by that one. So I got the total construction emission is equal to 37 gram carbon dioxide emission per kilometer. So total emission factor is equal to 186 plus 33 plus 37 is equal to 256 gram carbon dioxide emission per kilometer. Now this is the total emission factor, which is, if I go back here, from direct indirect fuel consumption plus construction emission. So this is the total emission factor, which is equal to 256 gram carbon dioxide emission per kilometer. It is multiplied by total kilometer per year 4400. So the result is 112,6400 gram carbon dioxide emission per kilometer. So this is the travel footprint of my car. Now how can I reduce this footprint? Try to reduce my transportation footprint. Imagine for myself a lifestyle where I don't own a car. If I take a public transport, this footprint can be shared and there should be huge reduction in this footprint. Now what's the public transport I use? Railway. How big is my public transport? Railway footprint, distance travel multiplied by emission factor. Distance travel unique 4400 in my car and here same, but public transport efficiency is 119 gram carbon dioxide emission per kilometer. This is given in the reference, and the total efficiency of public transport is that one. And finally I calculate the railway footprint 523,600 gram carbon dioxide emission per kilometer. So car footprint is double of the public transport footprint. You can see in the calculation. Car footprint is 112,6400 carbon dioxide gram carbon dioxide emission per kilometer, but public transport is half of it. From the perspective of energy utilization, the public transport footprint is much less than my car's footprint. It means I successfully lowered my travel footprint. So this is the main consequence of my presentation, to prove the public transport footprint is half of the very less than the car footprint. These are the all references which I follow in my presentation. Thank you very much.